Hello, myself Sunil R Nair. Here, basically, we are discussing the most dangerous topic, that is currencies and its dependence. In this, basically, we are discussing ideas, and in ideas, basically, we are discussing ideas are equal to global warming. One person told that ideas are equal to global warming. In previous video, we actually saw that basically what actually the global warming is. The one person told that in really basically the global warming is basically inside the malls, inside the buildings, inside the this that basically. Then one person told that basically it might possible na, basically the power supply chain basically which we are passing, that basically means having the problem. Then one person told that basically if we will change the power supply chain then it will create more difficulty basically in the environment basically, because it might possible that somebody might have done some plan basically, and he basically might have died due to some reason, and he basically had not documented anything basically. He is supposed to do the documentation, but he has not done basically. That's why basically the CMM, that's why the software company introduced basically the concept of documentation basically. So that type of problem basically might have occurred basically. That's why basically the software industry basically introduced this basically. So like this basically one of the person told, really basically the global warming is inside the or outside basically. That question basically actually lots of people told that basically it's a very dangerous question actually you asked, because the matrix also you have given the example, one person MBA this that also basically clearing lots of things basically, because education data basically is having 20 percentage error. That is also one thing basically, and the error basically is inside the power supply chain also basically, which power supply is basically getting passed. So the previous people basically, the old people basically, that were basically first world war, second world war people basically, they tried this only basically. That was what they finished a few cities and they finished the chain of the sequence. Sorry, they actually finished the city, but they have not changed the sequence of the power supply which is coming. So they also might be having some doubt basically. That's why they might have done this basically. So the power sequence basically which is coming from the across the world, because everything is created, that's why the problem is. You can't experiment a single thing basically. If you are experimenting, then basically the whole world basically might get in trouble basically. By chance basically the Mumbai city basically, that person basically told that I want to do the experiment. That is the railway system basically. I want to do some setting basically inside that I want to break the 120 satellites basically which is connected to the railway land basically. On the base of the railway land basically, the railway basically train is basically running, and the train basically is running on the base of that 120 satellites, and they are basically getting the pushing data basically, that is the pressure data. On the base of that pressure data basically the train is running. On the base of that basically the train basically is running. On the base of that the train is running. So that person told that basically I want to try basically something. So he basically might be having some doubt basically, because he is a richest person, right? He want to become the richest person in the world basically. So if he has become the richest person in Mumbai, that means he basically might be knowing everything basically. He might not be some, you can say basically what to say, some word basically you can add it. He might not be like that person basically. So he knows that basically that something problem is there basically in the creation basically. It might not be problem basically, it might be hidden basically, hidden problem basically we can say, because it might possible basically when they have reached so far basically, they might have felt something basically, so they might have came back. That might be the problem basically, because border are always there basically everywhere basically. That might be the problem basically. So that's why basically they might have came back. So that might be problem basically that time basically. So it might possible that 120 planet basically which is currently basically created, that basically might be giving some issue. Sorry, that is basically giving the data basically, and that data basically is created from the Earth planet data only basically, on the base of the story of the land basically, where the track basically of the train basically is running basically. On the base of that basically the 120 planet basically has created. So this is the one thing basically, right? This is the one thing. And here basically we are discussing what? Global warming equal to ideas. And education basically is one of the error basically, that is 20%. And one example basically I have given. One person told error is actually where? We are searching outside basically. It might possible that error basically might be inside only. The creation of the buildings, the creation of the data basically, from where the MBA people basically are getting the data, the people basically who are doing the study of MBA, and they are basically getting the data from the area basically of the MBA education energy basically, because everything is created na basically. That's why the problem is you can't change a single thing basically. If you are changing, then it's going to affect to entire world basically, and might possible that basically it will start the war basically. Mostly basically somebody might have done this without asking the any of the people basically. That's why only the war has started basically. That's why only the war has started basically. That's why only war has started basically. That also basically might be the reason basically, because possibilities are basically possibilities are basically there. Global warming itself basically is one of the possibilities basically. Global warming basically, lots of people say that outside is the global warming area basically. Due to that basically outside the temperature basically is increasing, the ice is basically getting fall basically. One of the person is telling basically each and every educated people, each and every hard working people, each and every people are basically inside the mall, inside the companies, they are doing their work. Whenever they are coming out basically, they are spreading the global warming data. That also basically is there. Possibilities are there basically, but you can't judge the exact data basically. Why? Because the creation is already done basically. That's why. So that's why basically mostly people say that long time before only basically the Mars planet has created, and mostly basically they might be doing the experiment of each and every sequence, each and everything, each and every train basically, each and every train track basically, and the satellite also basically, the things basically is connected in the Earth planet basically. But their experiment, if they are doing basically, the chances basically are less basically. Why? Because the Earth planet and the Mars planet environment basically are totally different. Their story basically are totally different. Everything, but possibilities basically are there basically. Experiment basically, few experiment basically can be happen basically. But here in Earth planet basically, if you are doing some experiment, then basically it is going to affect to the whole world basically. So this is that one basically. And few people basically found the solution basically by finishing the school basically. That is the Kashmiri group. So each country basically, each state basically have their own way of solution basically. One person asked that basically, how this policeman, this police commissioner of the city, na basically, he is handling the city in different way basically. He have lots of bad people basically in city. He handles city like that way only basically. Bad people means very bad people basically. They handles the city. Few people says that basically he handles the city by their policeman only basically. There is no bomb blast, there is no nothing basically. So like that also possibilities are basically there. So which possibility is good, that you can't say anything basically. So in next video basically we are going to see little bit more about the possibilities and idea equal to global warming in little bit detail basically.